Well, what's going on, YouTube? Hope everybody is having a good day. I know I am. I thought we'd take a look at a knife today. Now, a year and a half ago, Hogue, under the Sig Sauer brand name, released one of my favorite knives for the last year and a half or so. This is the K320. Now, they released a whole bunch of versions of this. They did it in Coyote Brown. They did it with plain blade. They did it with this black-coated blade. They did it in a Tanto version. They did an auto version. There are a lot of these out there. And it is a spectacular pocket knife. It is. This is the same material, and I can't remember exactly what it's called, that they make their grips out of for the Sig pistols. They were very proud of that, and they should be. It's very cool. But it always felt just a little, I don't know, a little slippery. It's not perfect. This is not perfect. I love everything else about this knife, and I have since the day I got it. The action, of course, is very good. It is exceptionally comfortable in hand. But I wasn't in love with the scales material. Okay, come forward until very recently, Hogue being Hogue, they released what's called the AXG Pro edition, and that's this. Now, as you can see, it is the same knife. They didn't do anything too radical. It's the same S30V blade steel, same able lock. It's got the same sort of louvered deep carry clip. Now, I know these are designed so that you can get a hold of this thing and pull it out of the pocket, even though it's deep carry. It is a nice touch. I still don't love the louvers that much, but that's okay. So what is the difference then between the AXG Pro and the standard version, besides about 30 bucks? Well, the AXG Pro edition has got aluminum scales with G10 inserts. Now, it is ambi. You can flip the clip, and because it is disable lock, this is a fully ambidextrous knife. So, of course, they put that lovely bit of G10 insert on both sides, and that is really grippy, and it makes it feel so nice in the hand. This is the kind of improvement that makes me love Hogue. Right? I mean, they do little things like that. And I really like that about them. Another example, for instance, is the Hogue Deca. So this is my Gen 1 Hogue Deca, right? CPM 20 CV blade, very light, very easy to carry. This is one of my all-time favorite knives. But people complained because of how many body screws there were. So Hogue said, okay. And they created the Gen 2. It is the same knife in every way, except they simplified the design a little bit so there are less body screws. I love that about them, right? This knife is not inherently better than this knife. It's just improved. The AXG Pro version of the K320 here is the same deal. They didn't screw with the design of the knife. They just elevated it a little bit. And it really makes a difference in hand. So these are about $186. These are, I think, $140. So they're about $40 difference. But I'll tell you, it is, to me, a worthwhile $40. It really is. It just elevates the K320 to something else. Something just a little nicer. And I love the way this looks and feels. So if you've seen my K320 review, or any of the literally probably hundreds of other K320 reviews, what follows after this point isn't really going to be that big a deal to you, but my recommendation is, if you've been thinking about getting one of these, it is a fantastic everyday work knife, light, easy to carry, great blade shape, all of that stuff. But you wanted just a little more from it, get the Pro. You will not be disappointed. Now, I haven't taken this apart yet, but I find myself wondering if maybe that means you could do other inserts here. Knowing the knife community, if it's possible, somebody will do it. So let's get the other basic specs out of the way. You get 3 inches of cutting on 3.5 inches of S30V. The grip area from behind this swell, right, is 3 3/4, but if you add in this generous forward choil, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4 all the way to the end of the knife. There is tons of room to move around on this knife. It is very comfortable. The action on the Able Lock is superb. You can thumb roll it, of course, or you can Spidey flick it. Well, it's just smooth and good. One of the things that they've done on this knife that I don't love this little nub right here. I don't get it. This knife would be much better suited with a little sharpening choil because it moves forward from the plunge and it limits your ability. Like if you're cut, anyway, I don't get that. I'm sure there's a really good reason for it, but I don't understand it. But anyway, I got to tell you, on a $186 knife, that's my only complaint. This little nub right here. Everything else is spectacular. The aluminum on this version feels really good. Now, I got this one from a local knife company, from a local knife shop. I know how to talk. And it has a little bit of nick right here on the aluminum. That's okay with me. I knew that this had been pocketed, but when I picked it up, yours won't have that, I assume. Anyway, the action's very good. The knife overall, from end to end, we are looking at just at 8 inches, right? Good size carry. Let's do some size comparisons before we do that. What should we compare this against? Well, of course, you've seen it against the Deca, which is another excellent Hogue-made knife. As you can see, it is larger than the Deca. Here it is against our old friend here on the channel, the full-size Presidio 2, and as you can see, it is considerably smaller than that. Here it is against the Tucson K, the TS390. There's a full review of that coming, as you can see. Oh, wrong knife. Just kidding. Anyway, as you can see, the K320 is a right-sized knife. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's very comfortable in hand. And with these new aluminum scales, it is very nice indeed. Let's see how much of the... zero that out. All right. It's a relatively thin slice. It's just over 3 millimeters, 3.18 millimeters of that S30V. But what that means, and because this is a nice tall blade, let's see where we are with that. Yeah, so from end to end here, we're looking at 1.3 inches from top to bottom. It means it has a chance to come down to a really nice edge. And it is a really nice edge, very slicey. So 3 millimeters of S30V, it's pretty good. Let's see how thick this thing is, shall we? All right, at its thickest point, we are just over a ½ inch. Not bad. It rides the pocket very well. And again, because of this Able Lock and the flippable clip, this is a fully ambi knife. If you're a lefty, this is a great option. Closed length is 4.5. Closed profile with no flipper. It's a tall knife, right? We're looking at 1 3/4 inches, just about. Yep. You're going to know it's in the pocket. But it's not like aggressive in the pocket because it's very smooth. Right? Very well sorted. Women Carry Knives is moving around. She was taking a nap. I'm afraid I have awoken her. Let's weigh it out. Hi, Women Carry Knives. She waved. Now, because of the aluminum scales, I think it's going to be a little heavier than we'd like. Yeah, we're talking about 5.3 ounces, which makes it, yeah, almost an ounce heavier than the original. But that's the difference between the synthetic scales and the aluminum scales. So, to me, it's worth it. It's worth it because this feels just so much more substantial than the synthetic scales. It just, I don't know, it feels like a whole nother level of knife, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, this incredible piece of kit has been the Hogue made Sig K320 AXG Pro. The AXG Pro just means that it has aluminum scales and the G10 inserts. I'll post a link to where you can find these if you are so inclined. Thank you so much for watching. I really like this knife, and I think you will too. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Take care.